Hello everybody and welcome to round 16 of the SLR T1 League, and here we are today under the beaming sun of Russia, obviously very cold Russia, and Sochi, and hopefully we can get a nice race today with the majority of the championship leaders here today. Only 14 drivers for this race. Unfortunately we've had a couple of issues. Oh, this is Danny nearly goes straight on into the wall. We've had a couple of people dropping out today, unfortunately. We've also got McRider from T2 joining in on the action for this race. See how he gets on. And yeah, it should be a really mixed up grid, and hopefully we can get a nice race out of it. In the end, Sochi isn't a very good track for racing, but it has its moments, it has its places. As Dario is track extending everywhere at the moment. On his lap, we'll stay on board with the Red Bull driver. It heads down into the off-cambered hairpin, where you're just going left and right at the same time, as well as braking. It's very difficult to get it right and find the right spot to get you turning. And that's the main thing about this track, is getting your turning just right and hitting that apex. It's very difficult as surface. It's the first lap of a 31.0, nice and competitive to start off with. Dario comes around the final corner, and I'd be very surprised if this is counting. Oh, it does count. It's a 31.4. I ran wide everywhere. Going on board with Kalkas in the McLaren. I'll get some telemetry up for everybody. He's carrying on his way. He's got a little bit of a slipstream from the car ahead of Dutch Hunter, which is Wesley Rosen. Wesley. He's just changed his name, so that'll be interesting. As McRider goes to P3 with a 31.1, and also Doan has gone to pole with a 30.8. Interestingly enough, as here comes Kalkas around the final few corners, and here he is. And will he go any quicker? No, he goes to P4 behind McRider, Surface and Dome V. It's interesting to see how McRider does against some of the T1 guys. Obviously he's fighting Legend in T2, I'm pretty sure will be in T1 next season. Obviously he'll get his promotion if he wins the league, which looks like it's going to happen. So he'll be up there next season, as Blunt is just making his way around the track. Not really setting a lap, and same with CYP just coming into the pits. Also got Savis out there on a lap at the moment in the Ferrari. He'll be hoping to just do a little bit better. He had a nice qualifying last week, but unfortunately didn't finish. He'll be hoping that he can just, you know, do a little bit better. Because everyone's in the 31s at the moment, which is nice to see. So the pace is pretty good. We've got only Doan in the 30s. He's a man on a mission at the moment. He seems to be dominating everything in this league. As of recent, since he joined Livid, he's really stepped up his game, that's for sure. But here comes Savis. Is he going to finish this lap? Or is he just going to slow it down and go for a fast lap now? There he is at the last corner. Yeah, just going to start another lap. The 33 is not going to do a lot. Milix is cutting all the corners, so he's trying to get round. Danny's the only one that's gone mediums. I think the strategy is going to be a medium soft today. Connor is now P5 just behind McRider, 600ths. That's kind of nearly puts it in the wall there. Went a little bit deep. Mraque Messina is now in P3, just behind Surface. But Doan seems to be in a league of his own at the moment. But it's very interesting. Top 6 separated by a few tenths of a second, very close. It's been really close of recent. Dario needs to be getting himself in there. He's on a lap at the moment. He's locked up into the hairpin though. I don't know if he's improving on his lap. As he heads in there, he runs deep into there as well. It hasn't been a very good few corners for Dario. And he comes into the pits, misses the pit lane slightly. As Danny said he's fighting for the wooden spoon, that sounds about right to be honest. Gone from winning races last season to fighting for the wooden spoon. As Baby Shark starts for his lap. And sometimes fighting for the wooden spoon can turn into a good position though if people start making mistakes. This isn't a particularly track where you make loads of mistakes. And keep it fairly consistent. Penalties will come into it though. It's very easy to pick up penalties. I'd say like into like these 90-degree corners, if you're turning a little bit too early, then you're going to pick up a penalty. And obviously turn 1's pretty harsh as well. And then you've got them fast right lefts, 5th gear in the middle sector as well, which are lethal. CYP is going to start his lap now. We'll go on board with the Alfa Romeo driver as he heads down through turn 1. This counts as turn 1 for some reason, but it's more of a swoop going into what is turn 2, 100-meter board, braking down, 3rd gear, 4th on exit, just revving it as much as you can. And then you've got this nice left-hander, sweeping left-hander, flat in 7th gear, just revving 7th gear as much as you can into turn number 4, 3rd, and then 4th gear. Try not to run wide. I don't know if he invalidated it there, CYP, but it was very close. He's going to shift down 4 gears to 3rd, and just keep him within the white lines. I think you'll get invalidated there. And then these 2 left and right-handers, which are taking 5th gear in the race. He's using 4th this time, maybe just going a little bit safe. Maybe just getting a bit more turning as we head now onto this back straight. Using 3rd gear just to get a bit of a pull into the corner. Is the Alfa Romeo on this occasion. Is heading down now. Just back straight into the dangerous braking zone where you're just going left and then right while braking. And then it's like a flowing section now of 3rd, 4th, 5th. There's lots of banging in the background. And it's all flowing, a lot of it is 3rd gear, just keeping the car flowing and in a straight line, but it looks like CYP is going to come in straight into the pits, as he's not improving on his lap. Surface is improving on his time at the moment. Dome V, where is he on track? He's going through the 1st sector. We've got McRider going through turn 2. We've also got Kalka's improving by 0.2 of a second. He's just behind Surface, I believe. No, Surface is furthest ahead on track, I believe, of the people running the laps. Also got Wrecking Messina is a bit further back, so we're going to stick on board with Surface at the moment as he heads through the middle sector. Right, left, and then this is they're flowing off camber as well. It's very difficult to find that apex, and Surface has found it particularly difficult there. As he heads around the final corner now, will Surface be able to get provisional pole position off of Dome V? The answer is yes, with a really nice lap there in the end, a 0.7. Messina's track extending to Narnia. We've got Kalkas coming around the final corner. He's 0.4 up on his lap. Will he be able to do it? He does, but he puts it in the wall, and he's very lucky not to totaled his car, but he gave everything over the line. Let's put it that right. We've also got McRider coming to the line next, I believe. He's going to be next in the Mercedes. Will he be able to challenge? He lets Wrecking Messina go, so he's given up on the lap, and I think he'll be going again with a bit of slipstream. Messina runs a little bit wide in the last corner, but will he be able to get anywhere up there? He gets a 0.9, so he does improve to 4th place, but still 0.3 off of pole position of Kalkas at the moment. We've got Cono's 0.3 up on his lap. He had some mid-season form. He looks pretty much unbeatable at some points in this season. He just seems to be getting wins out of nothing and picking up the pieces. Also of note, Dario goes to P3 there. Stone did win last week. Obviously, Surface did win across the line, but Stone got his 10-second penalty removed. So, obviously, he got the win in the end, despite not finishing ahead on track. We've got Milik's out there on a lap at the moment. He's yet to set a time. He's invalidated all of his laps. Same with Danny. And basically Savis was trying to go on the mediums, try and get in that top 10, which might be difficult because their times are not that bad. Unless they're just getting a sight lap. But here comes the Pimp Panther in the last sector. Will he be able to show some of the potential he's got? I mean, he had half a chance of winning the race last week if he could have made his tyres last a little bit longer, as he was a little bit deep into the last few corners. But here he comes around the final corner. Here comes Millix to the line, and it's a 31-1, just behind Blunt, 4 thousandths behind Blunt in fact, but just ahead of McRider now. He's in P8. With Connor P9, CYP in P10, who's 10th up on his time. He needs a bit more time though. He needs like 6/10 to get anywhere near anybody. Also, I know that Wesley has got a bit of time named Dutch Hunter. He's showing some nice pace on this track, as it's not letting me shift up. Fantastic. Which means we'll have a look at Danny, see if he can get as hard at top 10. That'll be interesting. He needs to really pull his finger out, because he's not really finding the apexes of the corners. He's lost the back end, and that's probably going to invalidate his lap, I'm pretty sure, or if he gets away with it. He did get away with it, and it's a 0.2, so it's very close. 6/10 separates the top 10 at the moment, which is actually quite nice to see, it being so close out there. I suppose the race pace will be slightly different. Consistency over one lap pace is a totally different story. Maybe we're on board with Wesley at the moment. Also, Doan is on a lap out there. I think he's just behind Wesley. Oh no, just behind Danny. We'll go on board with Wesley. I think he's further around. He's a lot further around. Is the Dutch driver, as he heads around the middle sector. Will Wesley be able to impact the top 10? I mean, he hasn't really set a representative lap yet. Him, Savis, and CYP are yet to really do something in this session. As I get a message, but we're going to leave it there as Wesley hits the wall, but just about keeps his tyres intact. So we're going to leave him alone and go on board with Dome V with his Senna helmet. It's fine, so lucky at the moment, and over one lap he has been a bit like Senna. He's shown some real paces. He's going purple at the moment. He's a bit out of kilter with everybody else, because he won't be able to get back to the pit lane and put a fresh set of tyres on. But this seems to be a half decent lap. Will Dome V be able to go top of the pops at the top of the timesheets? He comes around the final corner, and that is a brilliant lap. It's a 30.4, and that is something to aim for the rest, as Dome will be able to do a slow and a quick lap if he needs to. But I think that is all she wrote for him, as I go on board with Connor in his Williams. He's the only Williams now, as the Pirate unfortunately had to drop out of the championship for the rest of the season. And will Connor be able to do anything? He's gone purple in that middle sector, so he's definitely got the pace to it. His first sector I'm not 100% sure about, and this last sector is all about just keeping it nice and tight to the apexes, which Connor seems to be doing. It looks nice and clean at the moment. Going around the final couple of corners now. Will he be able to do anything about Doan's time? Moves right on point, and he doesn't. It's only a 30.9. It just slid out the last corner. It looked horrific in the last few corners. I don't know if Doan's gone for another lap. It says it's second up, that's not true. I think he's not involved in that. Dario's starting his lap in the Red Bull. We haven't got anyone else like starting laps. They're all at the moment just on out laps or in the pits. So Danny is calling it. Same with Blunt, who doesn't believe he can improve, and Doom V has also called it, provisional poleman. So all the rest behind have just got to aim for the stars, really. Dario is improving by 0.08 at the moment, so basically a 1/10 of a second, but needs another 3 on top of that. Does the Red Bull driver. He has yet to pick up a pole position, I believe, but he's definitely always up there. Is the Italian stallion. and today might be his day. Will he be ice cold under the pressure? As he looked like he locked up way too much there in the middle sector, just carried too much speed. But he's got to finish the lap because this is pretty much his last lap. I mean, he could do another one if he wanted to, and I don't know how much this is lag. But through the last corner now, will he be able to do anything? His Kalkas goes to provisional pole and takes it away from Dome V as Dario does a 0.5. So the track evolution is coming to everybody. His Kalkas is set at 30.3, which is lightning quick. Surface has given up on his lap, so that isn't good for him. I think Milik's got rid of his lap. Dario's given up on his lap. Messina is on an out lap, so he won't be doing a lap. And then there's Connor, really, who's on old tyres, and obviously McRider's 3/10 up at the moment, coming across the line, and he does a 0.8, so that's P5 for McRider. It's nice to see them two T2 guys, how they've progressed this season. He's 30.8 at the moment. We've got Connor on a lap, so he's been able to push Messina down, and the rest of them. Milik's only down in P9 in the end. We've also got Savis out there on the lap. I don't know where he is on track. He's much further around the lap, but he's only 6/10 up, unless he bodged his last few corners up. But he comes around the final corner, and it's a 30.9. He gets him 8th. It's a decent lap from Savis, but it's not really enough to challenge for the top of the order, unfortunately. But here comes Connor around the final few corners. Has he been able to put a lap together that's going to get anywhere close to pole position? It looks fairly quick as he comes around the final few corner now, and he's ran so far wide, it's unbelievable. But he got him a 0.7, which pushes McRider down to P7. And yeah, that's the end of qualifying. And I think Messina actually improved in the end. I thought it was way down. Maybe it was just the lap charts. So Messina qualifies P4 for this Grand Prix. But the man who I doubted before this session, I'm not going to lie, he's got a lot of league races going on today. Kalkas is taking pole position, and he really needs to start finding some consistency. Last week wasn't a good race, particularly for him. He wasn't anywhere, but today he's showing some of the pace that he's used to, so maybe it was just a bad week for him, a bad track. I'll pull up the championship standings so we can have a look how Doan's win affected the standings. But the man on pole, Kalkas, by just under a 1/10 of a second to Doan in the end. Yeah, it's fairly close. A lot of Italians today as well. We've got 3 on the grid. F7 to 1. So the rules wasn't actually updated. Interesting. But I can say that Dome did win the race, and he will pull himself a little bit closer. Probably ahead of Connor, actually. In fact, he will be ahead of Connor because Connor didn't race last week. So Connor will drop down to P4 in the championship because of that. And that was his second win on the bounce. And his last time Dome was off the podium was in Silverstone. And as soon as Surface has been pretty average of recent. I mean, he got second last week, and he got third in Belgium, 6th in Italy, and he obviously didn't start Hungary, and he only got 4 points in Germany. So he's been a bit off colour for a championship leader. But it'd be interesting to see what he does today. I mean, he hasn't been lightning quick. I mean, early season form, he wasn't off the podium until literally that Germany race, and since then he's been nowhere. So he's hit a bit of a blip, and you need to really take advantage of that blip. I mean, Kalkas is about around 40 points behind at the moment, and then you've got Doan, who will be about 60 points. 60 points? Yeah, about 60-65 points behind. And I think that might be a little bit too much to gain unless Surface really has some DNFs. And then that will definitely turn the tide towards other people like Kalkas, and they'll be a and Doan, who will be sniffing blood, especially after this race. Their performances recently have been, they've stepped it up, let's put it that way. Also Dario's been a little bit more impressive recently. He wasn't very good at Singapore, but Italy he showed some really nice pace. He had an incident though, unfortunately for him. Obviously Messina Journey Championships added a little bit more spice to it as well. With Surface now P5 in starting this race, he needs to really be gaining places to get on that podium. Just that's the thing he needs now, just podiums for the rest of the season, and then he's pretty much guaranteed the championship, because I can't see Kalkas and Doan having that sort of consistency, and that's what he needs, the consistency. And I think that's what he realises. He doesn't quite have the one lap pace over these guys in general. As I load up the stream, and then we've got Connor in P6 as well. Doesn't seem to have that mid-season pace he had a few races ago, but it might come out the closet, you don't know. We've got McRider, Savis in P8 with a nice clutch lap. Blunt being a naughty boy starting in 9th, and that is a beautiful view, I have to say. Milix in P10 just scraping into top 10. He'd be hoping he'd have hoped to start in 11th, to be honest. Danny is in that perfect 11th position. No rain today. Ooh. No rain today. With CYP 12, Dutch Hunter 13, who can definitely do better, and Baby Shark starting in the wooden spoon position in P14. Alright, we are waiting for the lights to go out. Hopefully we have a less eventful start than we did at T2. I can't wait straight on into carve the field out. We don't really want that. And to be honest, I don't really want a safety car with a small field, but here we are with 5 lights, and it's lights out and away we go, and the McLaren gets away with a little bit of wheel spin in the end. Doan's already side by side, and he's going to be ahead into turn 1 surely, and well, into turn 2 should I say, as it wasn't a very good start from McLaren. He's just sinking like a stone. Here goes Dario on the inside. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. They're all wide, they're all off, they've all gone deep, but somehow no spinning. In the end, I think Dario caused that. On board with Rakim Messina. Oh, Kalkas has been hit by Dario. Oh, there's some absolute carnage going off here. Everybody's losing front wings, and the virtual safety car is out already, and Dario caused the majority of that. Through just, I've said this before, and no clumsiness please at the start, and then he didn't need to just outbrake himself and punt himself into the side of Kalkas, who's last. I don't think he's got any front wing damage. Suppose he'd be happy with that, but he's got half a job here because Surface is 11th and Doan's leading, with Messina just in behind, with Connor and McRider in P4. So he's had a nice start. Danny P5. He says he was fighting for the wooden spoon, but after that start, I don't think he will be. We're going to go on board with Danny, as Kalkas has already overtaken CYP, who I think has got damage. I'm expecting Dario to come into the pits for hard tyres at the end of this lap. We've got an incident in sector 3, and I think that is Kalkas in the wall. He just span it. He hasn't even lost any front wing. Is he indestructible or something? But he's way off. So he's on a recovery drive now, as Danny comes into the pits after lap 1. Maybe this is his plan. But Messina is going to be free to race with Doan now, because he's the only one within any shout of a chance of getting the lead of this race. We've got Connor in P3 as well. This is almost redemption for Connor. The 2 championship leaders are faltering under the pressure, it seems. Well, I won't say Kalkas necessarily, because he kind of got punted by Dario, and that was his own fault really. Surface got caught up in all that. I don't know if he's got front wing damage again, but Dario was on a mission to take half the field out. I think Surface got away with it as well. I think he was just taking his time with Wesley P7 at the moment, and the front of the pack are kind of just keeping in pace with each other at the moment. I'm waiting for that DRS to open, which I'm presuming it will do in the next lap. It's only under safety car day it closes, and then that's when the action will count, because Doan will be able to try and get outside of that and then start pulling away. That's his aim in this early stage of this race, but Messina's stalking him like a hawk. We'll get some telemetry and lap data up, as we've got an incident and CYP is out of the race, and that's another VSC. We have 2 VSCs and 2 laps. I wonder if anyone will take the pit stop. Doesn't look like it. Too early in the session. As Surface is actually taking it. He's taking the pit stop, and he's stopped in the pit stop. Has he got a penalty? Did he get a 5-second stop and go? We'll double check that one. He did. He got in lap 1, so might have sped in the pit lane in the first attempt. So he's going to come out ahead of Danny, possibly. No, behind Danny, but ahead of Blunt. That's pretty much for sure. As we are go, and Messina is awake to the challenge. It looks like McRider and Connor wasn't quite there, ready for the go. Messina's track extending there, so there'll be a lot of penalties in this race. It's all about being patient and waiting for the overtake. The DRS is now open, so Messina will be able to keep inside that DRS a lot easier than before. So now all he has to do is keep within Doan in the slow stuff as much as he can, and that back straight on the first straight, the start finish straight, should I say. He's going to be a sitting duck really if he can get close enough. It's such a long straight, as Millix picks up the first penalty of the day, except for Surface's 5-second stop and go. But Messina sets the fastest lap of the race, and then McRider sets the fastest lap of the race. Interesting enough. But Messina is still within DRS, so he's closing. He's not close enough to ever make a move, as Calcus sets the fastest lap of the race so far. We've got Connor 7 tenths back as well, but so Messina's getting really close to the rear, and he's got to be careful he doesn't overtake. Hit his tyres on the back of Donan. He makes a little bit of mistake, and this is what he needs to do, just force Donan into some mistakes. And McRider's not really keeping up. Unfortunately, he doesn't seem to quite have the pace of the front 3 at the moment. But there he goes. Connor is keeping up quite nice. He's kind of breaking the dirty air effect. As we're heading into the middle sector, it's becoming a bit of a roadblock for Doan. He's waiting for the battling to happen. And we've also got Dutch Hunter and Millix coming quite close. And also Savis has had a really nice start in P5. I'm just going to point that one out. But after the pit stops, that's when things are interesting, because the guys outside of the, say, Calcas is on a different strategy. It's even Surface, who's already pit. He's 20 seconds off of Calcas, but Calcas has to pit. So them two will be fairly close at the end of the race. Messina is yet to really threaten the rear of that Mercedes, but he's definitely close, within range anyway. As I can confirm, the problem with Blunt was he was stuck in the pits for a very long time, so that's why he's far down, and Dara's far down obviously because of his incidents, and he might have pitted twice as well. But the real battle is here, but here comes the Dutch Hunter, who locks up into the middle sector, and the switchback is coming into play here for Millix. He was trying to keep his position, but Wesley round the outside. He's going to try and hold it. Nice racing from the two. Ooh, a little bit of contact, but got away with it. Fair play from both of them. Wesley didn't quite get past. On the straight, it should be much closer to the rear of that racing point and make that move. He's got DRS, he's within 3/10, and it should be much easier now unless Milix tries to go to that inside. He doesn't even take the inside. He realises that he's not really going to keep that position, and that is Wesley up into P6 as he picks up a 3-second penalty. Baby Shark is in P8 as well. He's kind of been minding his own business. And Savis isn't really catching McRider, but McRider is not catching. He's just losing, dropping off of the rear of Connor, Messina and Doan. Not really enjoying these soft tyres as much as these front guys are. Messina's track extending all the time. Is he even picking up any warnings for this? Because I can take note and use this in my race. He got 2 warnings. I didn't get a warning for that though. Doan hasn't got a warning. Connor hasn't got a warning. Neither has McRider. So, like I said, penalties will be interesting by the end of the race. Calcas is now 3 seconds off of Baby Shark. We certainly need to close this. We're going to get the tyre detail up for you. The top 9 are all in the softs. I'm quite surprised Calcas went for the softs on that first lap. Pit stop. If he went for that, the hards or something, yes, it might not have been initially quick. But he could have done something, so he's on the same strategy as everybody else. As, oh, the Dutch Hunter is round. And he has lost half a front wing as well. So I think he's tried going side by side for the last corner and got caught. That's him down now in 8th and probably having to pit. Here comes Messina. He's not anywhere near close enough to make a move. He seems to always be like 6/10 back every time he's on the straight. He needs to halve that to about 3/10 to have 3/4 to have a chance. So about this range, especially on the start finish straight. Yeah, as soon as you open that DRS, there's half a chance you'll be passed. And also Connor's keeping with a nice pace. Savis is starting to catch, it's catching Muradic slowly, not the pace he'd like, but he's definitely catching. Oh my god, some of the weaving going off there. I thought Messina was in the wall. It was that much. So Dona's getting very angry out there, again, showing his wings, I suppose. And Messina's starting to get bored of the rear wing of that Mercedes, just following him around. With Connor just waiting for a mistake or some sort of contact. That's what he'll be looking at, hoping for. 'Cause it's a long way to go and anything can happen. I'm expecting pit stops around lap 10 as the Dutch Hunters come on for mediums. So maybe now's the lap for the undercut, possibly. As, oh my god, we've got a rev glitch. Fantastic. And Milix is starting to catch Savis, who's just there in P5. And we're not going to go on board with Connor because his rev glitch is doing my head in. Doesn't sound too bad when you're off board, but on board it's ear piercing. Will anybody dive into the pit lane? No, they all carry on. Will McRider? It doesn't look like anybody is tempted with it. Just yet the top 6. And meanwhile, Kalkas is now closing on Baby Shark, and here comes Kalkas into the pit lane, and he will be going to the end on a set of mediums, I presume. He's also trying to break that Dutch Hunter grasp. As Surface is coming around the final corners, it'll be interesting to see where Surface comes out in all this. Should just get ahead of Kalkas, but not by much. As he comes around the final corner now, ooh, it's going to be very close. I think Surface has got this. There it is. It's going to be about 5 seconds by the end of this. Maybe even less. So it wasn't, it was quite close. I mean, Surface is just ahead, and there's Danny getting overtaken by Blunt for P10. So Blunt's back in the top 10. And he's getting very squirmy on the rear. Oh, he's getting dragged into that curb, and he got a warning for it. Oh dear, Danny boy. Will any of these top 3 now pit? Very interesting. McRadden are 6 seconds off the leaders, so they're showing some decent pace at the moment. Messina pits. Messina's gone for the undercut. And I can't say I blame him, as oh, he sped in the pit lane. He got too excited. And wow, that's going to turn this race on its head a little bit. So Connor, have you got the balls? Because you've got to overtake him, catch him and overtake him. What have you got to stop Doan winning his 3rd race on the bounce? I wonder. As Messina comes out, obviously, and then everyone's in the pit, so Milix has jumped in, and so has Baby Shark. Savis carries on for another lap. They're helping with tyre wear, but it might affect his track position. Here comes Connor on the back of Dome V. Eight tenths between the two drivers at the moment. So Connor's closed about half a second on this lap, so he's showing some nice paces, keeping them soft tyres a little bit better than Doan is. And I expect Doan in the pits. Pulls in the last minute, even hits the bollard. It was that close. And nobody speed, so Messina's at a disadvantage. He'll probably take the lead of this race. Pulling through the middle sector now. Doan's pulling into his pit box. Also Savis comes in the last of the pits. People to pit. Got somebody streaming. Here comes Messina around the final corner, and he should take the lead of the race. It's going to be a lot closer than I think it would be. But here comes Messina, and he does take the lead, and it's showing me sped in the pit lane because he'd had the lead of this race going into turn 1. Damn. Damn. I don't think he picked up a penalty yet. In fact, yeah, he did pick up another one. So he's got that 5 seconds plus a 3 second penalty. And even McRider's closed a little bit on Connor and Doan outside the pit lane. She's doing nice. And Milix has dropped back. Actually, he's overtaken Savis with the undercut. But he's got 1 lap fresher tyres, which won't make too much of a difference. But Milix is picking up penalties all over the show. And also Kalkas and Surface are together. Obviously Surface will probably find it difficult to get to the end with another 16 laps. And Kalkas 2 seconds back from the Renault. So he's starting to come into contention a little bit. Into his Savis battle as well. So he can gain some much valued points out of this. I'm expecting Surface Staff to pit again at the end. Also Blunt is fighting P9 over Baby Shark. Dome really wants his lead back. Because the only thing Messina can do is push him back into Connor. That's going to be a warning from Dome. No? It seems like Messina's got the pace to hold the lead. He just unfortunately made that corner cut and spent in the pit lane, and that's going to cost him the race win today. He had the pace. But yeah, unfortunate. Also got McRider. Now 5.8 seconds back, so he's again dropping back. He's in no man's land at the moment. But everyone else's mistakes have kind of helped him get that P4 at the moment. And I don't think he's got a warning. He's got 2 warnings now. So, in the grand scheme of things, Ricky Messina will probably step off of the podium, but he's setting the fastest lap of the race. As Milik sets 35.0, so he's going even faster, and Savis cannot keep up with that pace. But I expect Milik's tyre wear to drop off at some point, because no matter how much he pushes, he seems to have worse tyre wear than quite a lot of other people. And Kaukas has gained about second on surface. He's nearly in DRS range. And surface is nearly in DRS of Savis. Messina's track extending, but he needs to pull away, and he's not really doing that. He's using all of his ERS, but he's going to run out if he carries on. I'm getting very tight for some reason. They get up to like 3 o'clock, so I don't understand that too much. And yeah, it's just a waiting game as we're hitting halfway through this race now. And the order is Messina leading. We've got Doan in P2 with Connor P3, McRider sitting in P4, Milik's P5, Savis P6, Surface P7, Kaukas in 8th, Blunt down in P9 with rounding out the top 10 we've got Baby Shark with Dario closing in, and Danny and Dutch Hunter sitting in P13 with the only DNF of the race going to CYP. So back to the action, we've got all of these guys basically together, which they've been all raced, and whoever picks up a penalty really is going to be in a bit of a doo-doo. Doan isn't even picking up a warning, so he's learning from his mistakes from earlier on with Kaukas. And originally Surface was setting that benchmark, well, you could say even Thorium back in the day. He never really ever picked up a penalty. Well, Surface always did, and then lost the race because of it. And Racing Thorium's really taught him to keep an eye on that, and then Surface set the bar of consistency. He went like whole season we're not really picking up a penalty, and we've got an incident somewhere. It's the Dutch Hunter retiring. He binned it somewhere, and now Kaukas is really keeping up on that point of view as well. Kaukas isn't really, I mean, he's got 2 warnings, but one of them will be a contact warning possibly. And then we've got Doan out there who lost a few wins early on in the season because of penalties, but since then hasn't ever really looked like picking one up, and he's got a real chance of taking the lead of this race if he's got the straight line speed. I don't think he's even looking though. He was half a second back, but not enough under DRS. And I think Surface has made a mistake, because Savis is up the road a little bit, 2 seconds up the road now. So maybe his tyres are going off the cliff a little bit, and Kalkas is within 3/10 of the Renault driver. As Dario moves past his sister team of the Toro Rosso as he gets the final point position at the moment. I'm expecting Surface to have to pit. I don't think them tyres will last. He hasn't really gained on service, which I'm quite surprised about, being the faster driver, but obviously a little bit more tyre wear. Doan still standing firm behind Messina, unable to really make a move on the McLaren driver. But here it is. It looks like he's going to make a move. He's took his time, but here goes Doan for the lead of the race, down the inside of turn 1. Will he go deep? Doesn't look like it, but Messina's gone for an exit, and he's going to get an almighty slipstream, is he? I think he's lifted off a little bit. And that's Doan back into the lead of the race. Well, the actual lead rather than the provisional lead over the end of the race. It's better to have the track position and know you're winning it. And he should now be sprinting off in the distance, because he's been pushing Messina around a little bit. Unless Messina can come back in this middle sector. There's Kalkas and Surface are going side by side. Ooh, Surface nearly hit the wall there. And somehow they're still going a little bit side by side. He's not letting that one go. But it looks like Kalkas has got past the championship rival with a little bit of a ding dong. He's him up into P7, and 3.5 seconds off of Savis, who's been able to get away under the what's the word I'm looking for? Under the battles, the strain of the battle of the guys next to him. But here comes Messina again on Doan. Will he be able to do what Doan did to him on the last lap? Is he close enough? I don't think he is going to be close enough on this lap. Just running out of room. Connor's quite close to the back of Messina though. He's keeping up quite well. He's kind of pushing him around. Oh, look at the gains he's making there. But he's going to compromise his exit on the next corner. But he gained some understeer and a lot of grip as well. But he's going to make a move right around the outside as Dario's got past Blunt. Thus makes that classic Baby Shark oversteer moment. But here comes Blunt again with a lot of slipstream, but it's very difficult to get to the inside line of there unless you're a little bit closer. You need to be nearly side by side. And now Kalkas is making his way towards Savis in that P6. As they all stand stalemate, and this is how it's been for a while. Obviously Doan got past Messina after the pit stopped, after Messina got hit past him, but It's been very close, but Doan always seems to just have the edge about him at the moment. He's got that form, he's got the momentum. He got to qualified second and then obviously got the good start, and that momentum just carries on. Obviously, you know, Dario destroyed Kalkas, but which probably means the best he can probably do is P4 out of this race. I don't know if Messina's picked up any more penalties. Oh, he has. He's picked up another one. So that P4 is quite vital actually, because 11 seconds down to McRide. I don't know if McRide has actually picked up any penalties. He's got 2 warnings, but no penalties. So McRider currently is on the podium, without him really knowing it. When he's in sector 3, Millix is out. He's binned it. Did he just lose it on the curb and put it in the wall? That's really odd. He must have lost it on the exit curb. But he's all the way down there. He was nowhere near anybody. I'll promote Savis back into P5. Will anyone go for a cheeky pit stop? I'd have thought Surface Mile went for one, being on much older tyres. No, they believe they can go to the end. I mean, I don't know how durable the softs are at this track. They mean 0 tyre wear here, but how much is 0 is Connor and Messina are getting very close, despite all of this. And it looks like Doan's got a very good exit, so it looks like he's got away nicely. As Messina has as well. I think Connor caught a little bit, caught napping on the go. McRider's even closed a little bit as well. Savis is 5 seconds off of him. Kalkas will be hoping he might actually still be able to get a podium out of this race. If he can get past Savis, then he's got that 5 second gap, and if he gets past McRide, and then that's the podium. But it might be a little bit too much of an ask to get 6 seconds, but I'm sure he'll give it a good go. He's got some nice pace. We'll check the pace actually. So the front 3 are really the same, so we've got like 35s, 34s possibly. For Doan we've got only 35s, high 35s, low 36s there for Messina. And yeah, Connor's got similar pace to Doan, but Messina's a little bit slower. We've also got McRider who's high 35s, mid 35s. So they're all similar really. Savis is now, he's had 35s but he's in the 36s really. And then you've got Kalkas who's again got a penalty now actually. They're all very similar. It seems that way anyway. As Danny was disqualified. So the top, we've only got 10 runners now all of a sudden. Well, Baby Shark in the final point. Connor is getting very close to Messina. Messina is dropping out of that second, which Doan would have wanted. Connor needs to really get a move on if he wants to challenge the Mercedes. Yeah, I don't think Connor's picked up a penalty just yet. No. And Doan hasn't even got a warning, which is impressive at this track. Well, obviously Savis has got penalties and McRider hasn't. So McRider's probably safe for a podium possibly. I don't know if Messina's picked up anything else. He's got a warning. Savis has got penalties, I know that, but only the one. So the Kalkas Savis battle is legitimate. As Connor picks up his first penalty, and that pretty much gives Doan the win, because he hasn't picked up anything. Both of the Mercedes haven't. So fair play to both of them. The rider just needs to stay within range. As Dario picks up a penalty. Because Savis is 5 seconds off of McRider, and obviously Kalkas has got a penalty which keeps him his P6 at the moment. As Doan sets the fastest lap of the race, and he's now starting to put the throttle down, put the hammer down a little bit. Obviously he saved his ERS for that lap, I think. And he's after the 26 points. Here's the Mercedes. And he's showing some real good pace when he really needs it. He's been keeping it nice and calm all race. The first stint he pretty much dominated. Messina undercut him and it could have worked out, and I'm sure he'd fight a little bit more with Doan if he didn't get all them penalties, but he kinda know he's giving up the ghost a little bit. As Connor picks up his second penalty. At this rate, McRider will get that P2 at this rate. With 5 laps to go. It's looking very interesting indeed, as Connor and Messina are battling, and Connor has got past Messina for what is P2 for Connor now, so he can charge after Messina, but he's got penalties out of his ears now, so he's basically just handed the win. He's got 2 penalties in 2 laps. That's kind of just to make that move. And with Messina getting he's got his 5-second penalty, so he's got 11 seconds worth of penalties. Here comes Messina on Connor. Connor sets the fastest lap of the race in the process as well. But Messina needs to get hammered out to keep his podium. He needs to gain 1.2 seconds, 1.1 seconds on McRider. As Kalkas is still yet to get past Savis, so Savis is keeping it nice and steady at the moment. Obviously he's got fresher tyres to try and stay ahead of Kalkas, but this is 4th position as well. I don't think Kalkas got penalties. He's only got 1. Savis has only got the 1 as well. And to be fair to McRider, he's kept solid pace. He just can't quite keep up with the rapid pace they're running at the minute. They're running in the 34s for a little bit there. Well, Connor and Doan are, definitely. And now he's starting to struggle to keep within the DRS. Just trying to get dragged along. It's going to be quite close. If McRider gets his podium, it's going to be quite close. It depends if Messina gets another penalty as well. If he gets another penalty, then Murata's got that podium. For the minute, he's keeping it nice and cool. Does that count as a warning? I'm trying to find out what counts as a warning, because in time trial that's invalidated lap. Now, if you turn in a little bit too early, possibly, in there. You can track extend this. It's absolutely Narnia, but it's slippy. Kaukas is slowly catching Zavis, and it looks like now he could possibly make a move. A little bit too far back for the McLaren. The Papaya. He's got to wait another lap, maybe the main straight, but it looks like he's now in range to make inroads on the Ferrari. Service is now 5 seconds back, which is really about 2 seconds, because both of these two have penalties and I don't think Surface does. Right, that's a lie. Surface does have a penalty. So there are 2 people in this race that don't. So there's only Doan, who's now picked up a warning. So everyone's got warnings. There's only Doan and McRider that haven't got penalties. I say that, McRider's picked up a penalty. So that ends his chances of getting that 3rd place, I think. Unless Messina picks up another penalty in the last 3 laps of this race. He's also got some corner cutting tokens. But Messina's dropped off the rear of Connor by 2 seconds. So has he had a bit of a mistake? I think so. Or has he got front wing damage or something? But Connor's within a second of Doan now. He's piling on the pressure. Just trying to get him to get some penalties, I think. It's a shame for Connor, because if he'd have just bided his time, he would have had half a chance of winning it. And that's another penalty for Connor. That's 3 penalties now for Connor. Just cut turn 1 a little bit. Blunt picks up a penalty and Kaukas makes his way past Savis into turn 1 and nearly loses the back end. But keeps it going in a straight line. And he's already lost the DRS to Kaukas because of that. A little bit of error. The thing is, Murata's catching Messina quite quickly. Messina's starting to struggle, and now he's dropped out of that DRS. He's really struggling out there. And now all of a sudden he's gone from the hunter to hunted. I mean, Murata's got his penalty, but 36ers aren't going to do a lot for you. And this lap hasn't been much quicker. So if he gets it 8 seconds, then he gets it. So this last lap is pretty crucial for Messina's race. He's got to do a really good lap here, because 8/10 the difference really between the 4th and 3rd. We're not on track but off track. And obviously we've still got this battle for the lead, but yeah, it's not really a battle for the lead. Looks like Kaukas is going to get that P5 unless he's picked up another penalty somewhere. Now he's 1 warning away. And he's shown some nice pace. He did a 34.8 in that last lap. So in clean air he's shown he's got the pace. Travis is on 1 warning away as well. As Connor picks up another penalty, so I'm pretty sure that puts Ryder on the... No? No, because he's dropped off so much, Messina, that... Yeah, Connor's kind of keeping up with Dome, but the amount he's dropped off is... Yeah. It kind of makes it hard to read, but the gap is 0.2 of a second between McRider and that podium on debut in T1. And I tell you, when I asked him to do this race, up the numbers a little bit, I don't think he'd have thought that he'd be on the podium. And he's now within it. And it looks like Murada's going to get that podium, but we're going to go on over with Doan, who's going to come across the line to win the race. And he's driven superbly to get that, to get no penalties whatsoever, but it's going to be McRider on that final step of the podium. Connor comes on P2, 12 seconds in the end off. And McRider is going to get P3. Ahead of Ricky Messina, who just had no pace at the end for some reason. Kalka's P5, Savis P6, Surface P7. I mean, it was 12 seconds because of penalties, but it was much closer really on track. With Dario P8, well, it will probably be Blunt P8 because of all Dario's penalties. And Baby Shark will come home in P10, I believe. P9 actually. So yeah, in the end, it was quite actually interesting. I mean, McRider got that podium in the Mercedes, so Mercedes won 3. Separated by Connor, who had a nice race. He showed a bit of old form there. He closes in on the championship. Surface has had some really bad run recently. And this makes it very interesting coming into the last few rounds. I don't know who got the fastest lap, but whoever got that point will be happy. But I tell you, Surface won't be very happy with his championship challenges going down the drain slowly. And Doan is chipping away, that's for sure. Kalkas probably could have won that race, but Dario destroyed it. It would have been a really nice battle to see. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. But yeah, guys, that has been the Russian Grand Prix. Make sure you like the video if you liked some of the action today. If I have a look, fastest lap, I think it was Connor. Yeah, Connor got the fastest lap, so that'll be 19 points for him. And yeah, guys, hopefully I'll see you next week. It will be Japan? Yeah, it is Japan. So a massive bump. So that'll be interesting. It's a nice track for racing as well. Hopefully we can have some nice racing and less of the crap that we've been having recently. Yeah, guys, thank you for watching. I've been NA47. I'm out of here. Good night. Time for the arguments.